Good evening, welcome to RTD English News. Tonight, as top stories we have 2 million pilgrims at Arafat Mountain. Social, a 20% relief on income tax.
Eid is that time of the year that brings joy in one's life. Muslims all over the world will be celebrating Eid al-Adha tomorrow. May the magic of this Eid brings lots of happiness in your life, and may you celebrate it with your families and friends. So for this occasion, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margele, is receiving messages from its counterparts, heads of state and governments of Muslims of countries. They are sending him best wishes for Eid al-Adha. These messages issued by the heads of states and government of the Arab Muslim countries are continuing to arrive these days to the presidency of the Republic. They are all wishing health and happiness for the head of state, Ismail Margele, as well as plenty of peace, development, and prosperity for the Djiboutian people. In their messages, the Arab and Muslim leaders has all paid tribute to the President Gele for his tireless efforts in the development of Djibouti. They have also praised the valuable contribution he made for the economic integration and stabilization in this part of the world.
The head of state and governments of Muslim countries has also welcomed the outstanding capacity of Djiboutian people to always place its unity and cohesion above all. For his part, on this occasion, the head of state Ismail Margele has also conveyed his best wishes to his counterparts, head of state and government of Arab and Muslim countries. He wished to each of these leaders success and achievement, as well as greater prosperity and fulfillment to their respective people. The head of state, in his message sent to his Arab and Muslim counterparts, has affirmed the hope for a rapid reduction of violence on the basis of religious belief. May God accept our prayers to see the world change into a place where cultural and religious difference are seen more as a source of wealth rather than a source of tension and conflict, wrote the President Gili. As for today, concerning the Arafat mountain, where the pilgrims at the Hajj are gathered on the mountain.
The culminating moment brought together this year around 2 million Muslims from all around the globe. After having spent the night at the Minai Valley, few kilometers from the Grand Mosque of Mecca, the worshippers have converged straight to the Arafat mountain at dawn. A wave of pilgrims, where many of them took shelter from the heating with sun with the umbrellas, were guided by the Saudi security agents and other volunteers, were giving food and water. Saudi Arabia has mobilized 100,000 security forces for this pilgrimage. Let's bear in mind, it is on the Arafat mountain that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had given his last sermons.
The price of cattle has been fixed to 1,000 franc Djibouti. An order of 5,000 franc Djibouti has been dropped after that the market has been stabilized. Sellers and buyers have found a common price for each head sold. The reason for the cheap market is soaring is due to the strong demand. On the occasion of the Eid al-Adha feast, slaughtering a sheep for every Muslim is a perpetual tradition deeply embedded in the Holy Book of Islam.
Still in the national scene, buying and purchasing the Eid clothes and materials at the last minute is something usually and commonly a tradition in the Republic of Djibouti. It's one of the most beautiful things. People are making a beeline to Putik from Putik and other shopping complexes.
Some families opted to change furniture and appliances in their homes, which makes the furniture market vibrant for this special day. Others took the opportunity to purchase cooking material. Shop sector make their biggest selling asset. Djiboutian people don't count when it comes to buying aid material and the like. The main objective of the day is to make children happy, materializing dreams and make family and entourage in a joyful mood. Bus and shuttle to make 2 hours morning downtown street are full of people yelling, cheering and enthusiastic. Children hand with their parents going from store to store as the market offer the diversity.
As the people are buying new clothes and materials for the approaching Eid, the municipality of Kabul decided to redecorate the capital with lamp lights to give the city a glowing festive aspect expressing the Eid. Technicians in charge of these decorative lights are still working lumber for the city to shine with thousands of lights. The onlookers appreciate and the merchants are happy because it's inspired from Istanbul decorative fashion, and on top that a design style fit on the old buildings of the capital. These lights give a happy look to the city and the sidewalk.
And still on the national news, 1 week after the adoption by the Ministers' Council of 10% removal of the solidarity tax on the retirement and pension of the regime, this report is devoted to our social impact of this measure on purchasing power retirement. We will see also light on budget issues in terms of impact on the National Social Security Fund. Let's recall that headline measure decided by the head of state is the seventh of a long process reform started in 2009 and precisely that aims to improve living condition of our patient. In any case, it's an advanced social measure granted with some relief by the patient who were exposed for several years to the budget austerity measures. Let's listen to the comments in this report.
It is indeed relief that dominates the week after the decision of Council of Ministers to remove the solidarity tax of 10% on pensions, established in 2002 with a rate of 15% that will go to 10% in 2009. This tax was since that date at the heart of the two regime pensioners' complaints. In addition to 6.2% under the social contribution, this makes 16% of social concerning the reason of tax solidarity reductions. Let's listen to the explanations of Social Security National Fund General Director Ms. Hana Farah Assoui.
En 1999, notre gouvernement
In 1999, the government launched an ambitious reform program for our pension system in collaboration with the World Bank. After a noted focus on our long labor portion, the government has introduced parametric reform to restore the financial balance of pension playing in a viable social security system for the medium term. It's from there that the withdrawal of tax of pension with a rate of 15% have been decided. In 2009, the President of the Republic ordered to reduce the pension, and so the rate of 50% of solidarity tax went down to 10%. And today, the government has decided an outright suppression.
Moreover, the abandonment of the tax imposed of 70 and pension is the last relief measures and removal since 2009.
le président de la République a ordonné
There is no question for a loss for us, but rather to share the fruit of growth. We are a social institution, and our main mission is to protect our fidelity against social risk.
Let's not forget that pensions are governed by two systems fully managed by the National Social Security Fund. This is the general system that includes the contract staff of the state, also called from pension contracted, and private sector. This system manages total effective retirement 9,500 pensions. It is interesting to see simulation reduction before and after that measure of last week. Explanation of Mr. Abdul Qadir Dini, Technical Director of CNSS.
Pour ce régime, l'incidence
For the general plan of the budgetary impact in 300 million, for special arrangement are in 133 million per year. The total is laying relief of 433 million. Answering the questions of our team, the representatives of Association of Pension Scheme have expressed their satisfaction and recognition to the place of the government and President of the Republic.
Today, more than ever, the page of fiscal austerity which struck the two pension plans has definitely changed. After all, it is a social progress which is fair values should be welcomed.
The Minister of Labor in charge of administrative reform, Mr. Hussein Abdi Ahmed, said that for the government, all these measures aim to improve the living conditions of the retirees. Let's hear it from him.
Il est vrai que depuis 2009,
Since 2009, a quite number of measures have been taken in favor of pensioners. These measures are very favorable to retirees since it is a fragile segment of the population. It is a part of the population that has no resource but to retire. The President has seen very fit that given the austerity and the crisis of the 90s and the time when our country today revives economic growth, we thought we should make a move on the side of retirees to increase their purchasing power and thus enhance their living conditions.
The fight against illicit traffic in food and its illegal commercialization bad for the consumers has been the main objectives of the Caesar. Rana, health inspector, and the customs service with the national police have made a Caesar operation earlier in the morning at the marketplace of Tajura city. This operation was planned by the Director of Control and Monitoring of Customs, Mohammed Osman Hassan, Lana Director Hassan Ali Kamil, and the Livestock and Veterinary Service Director Sheikh Ibrahim Musa. At the end of this operation, the outdated and faulty food were seized. To this end, the General Director of Customs, Guled Ahmed Yusuf, did not fail to thank the different department agents who participated to this operation for their outstanding, remarkable work. This operation was supervised by Mr. Hassan Dileta, Assistant Director of Control and Monitoring of Customs.
The Road Brigade Police has captured an important quantity of 5,500 kilograms of marijuana. Indeed, the police had information that an important quantity of drug had been slipped inside the country illegally September the 21st by a truck before being dropped in a restaurant in order for the buyer to get it. Having these important informations, the police went for an underground operation to stop the transaction moment the seller and its buyers at the same time with the evidence. During the transaction, the police have arrested 3 persons involved in the case and seized the 5,500 kilograms of marijuana. These dealers were on their way to sell this amount of illegal drug in the capital of the country. This operation was full success. The police border have done a remarkable job. It's their duty to protect the country.
This was the national news. Let's move to the regional and international news. President Abdurrabbu Mansour Hadi has returned to Yemen yesterday after 6 months in exile in Saudi Arabia, joining government ministers in the southern city of Aden, an airport official said. Mohammed Aden will tell us more detail.
Who is recognized by the international community, arrived on board a Saudi military aircraft that landed at an airbase adjoining Aden civilian airport. Prime Minister Khaled Baha and several government ministers returned last week to the port city, which was retaken from the Houthi rebels in mid-July. Hadi's arrival comes a day after thousands of rebel sympathizers thronged the capital Sana'a to celebrate a year since its seizure. A Saudi-led coalition launched a bombing campaign against the rebel on March 26. The coalition expanded its military campaign into the ground operation in July, but the rebels still control much of north and central Yemen. Since then, The Houthis have lost 5 southern provinces to Hadi loyalists and are waging an offensive in Mirab province east of the capital. The United Nations says nearly 4,000 people have been killed since last March in Yemen. The United Nations aid chief has called the scale of human suffering almost incomprehensible.
In Libya, UN envoy Bernardino Leon said late on Monday that a final text of a peace deal for war-torn Libya has been reached at talks in the Moroccan resort of Tikrit. It was up to Libya's rival factions to agree to the text, Leon said, but he warned that this seems to be the only option. This has been commented by Kassir Ali.
European countries and the United States have strongly backed Leone's effort to broker a deal between Libya's internationally recognized government, based in the eastern city of Tobruk, and Islamic-leaning rival administration in the capital, Tripoli. The UN envoy said all the parties to the talks had agreed to come back after the end of this week Eid festival to discuss the makeup of a national unity government. Libya's chaotic civil war has seen the Namrud militia that emerged in the 2011 revolt against ruler Muammar Gaddafi line up behind the two rival governments. The conflict has allowed Daesh to gain territory around the city of Sirte in the center of the country. Libya's lawlessness has facilitated people smuggling across the Mediterranean, and migrants workers already in Libya had also joined the flow of refugees and migrants leaving its Mediterranean coast in the hope of reaching Europe. This deal will allow the two parties to have a mutual understanding and peace among them.
One of the biggest mosques in Russia has been inaugurated today after 10 years of construction work. Let's listen to this report. The ceremonial opening of the mosque has been attended by the President Vladimir Putin and foreign dignitaries including the Turkish and Palestinian leaders Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Mahmoud Abbas. The new place of worship built on the site of the city's original mosque will be able to accommodate more than 10,000 people, about 10 times more than its predecessor. Moscow's original mosque, built in 1904, was the only functioning Muslim place of worship during most of the Soviet era. Reconstruction work began in May 2005, but in 2011, the old building was completely demolished. The construction had cost about $170 million. It had been funded entirely by private donations from around the world, including from Abbas, who gave $25,000. This opening has taken place before the major day of Eid al-Adha. This is the end of the English news. Thanks for your attention, and we wish you a very blessed Eid al-Adha. The program still continues on RTD.